So you all guys already know what it is, man. It's DAB, man, and we here for our storytelling segment, Storytelling Saturdays, baby. And what better way to get into this than by telling stories about the conflict between the forces of good and evil. That's what the the core of DAB is ultimately, and we use our content to portray those stories and those events, right? So we use our content to convey powerful stories and messages through storytelling. So, I got my brother here, you know, co-runner of DAB, and we about to get it started, man. And what better way to I feel to start this off than by beginning with one of the greatest stories, one of the greatest books ever written, one of the greatest stories ever told, the Bible. So yeah, bro. Um, each week, I mean, it'll start off with the Bible, are these segments, and then each week we'll go into. Well, by the time we're done with the examples we're going to take from the Bible, I mean, this is not to get in any religious thing, right? Any type of, we're not trying to sway anybody to do this or to become a Christian or to, this is just for the strict purposes of storytelling. So, um, and the blueprint or the model that is used in these texts to portray the struggle between the forces of good and evil, and so we're just using it for the context strictly. So we feel like I feel like it's definitely a powerful tool to tell the stories, and ultimately, I mean, even though it's the Bible, I mean, these guys in these stories and in those ancient times, they were considered superheroes. So, DAB is about, becoming your own superhero, in a way in your own life. So we're going to use those stories as examples. And then as time goes on, we'll go into other mythological texts and other ancient texts and stories as well. So I think that's just going to be dope. And, you know, what other things that, you would think be dope to talk about, bro? You know?
Um, First of all, my name is Randy. Big bro, right? I mean, shit. Um, you said quite a bit, man. What exactly? I mean, what's the story going to be about? I mean, like our triumphs, because that's kind of broad. So, like for example, you know, I can say, you know, we're talking about some stories in the Bible, but how does that relate? Like, for example,
Right.
we were talking earlier about Samson, right?
Right. Oh man, we can't. Yeah, we can't go into the whole story.
Why not?
I want to go into it right now, but that's gonna be a whole segment. Like we're gonna like when
Well,
we.
that's what we're doing, right?
Well, yeah, kind of, but remember, we're gonna research the topics first and then go into it. Like, and then because I want to narrate that, like, when we do these story segments, there'll literally be a story. Like, maybe we can talk like after it or whatever. But like, I think that like we narrate the story ourselves with our storytelling abilities, right? And then we tell the
What
story.
story do you want to tell?
And
That's all.
so what? So I think our first one, like we talked about, can be about Samson, and we'll break it down like or no, we can start with no. Let's start with the first like real person that really had to kind of save his people in a sense, right? Like, so I mean, Noah could be a forerunner, right? I get, because I mean, right now we're just shooting this shit. We're just talking about how what we'll do for the series. So I mean, we can knock down the list, and then the people can decide. You can basically tell from that what we're going to talk about. So
Well, does that also include like future plans?
I mean, yeah, we could talk about that all right now. I feel like you know the first. I want to do this by like us narrating and talking about these ancient people and equating it to what I'm doing in the mission for DAB, right, is to convey the powerful messages through storytelling. That's ultimately what the Bible did, and you know what I mean. It's hand in hand. So I want to like not only like this. I don't want to make it like a sort of like a documentary, but narrate it in me and your voices. You know, very cinematically and dramatically, right? So we'll go into if we start with man, who could we start with? Man, it's so many legendary. And now that I'm seeing it, yo, it really is the greatest story ever told, bro. You can start with Abraham and how God kind of promised him uh that his descendants will be as numerous as the stars. You know, I remember that from reading that, and you know, I guess he would kind of be the first one, and then they had to. So yeah, us breaking that down and doing a whole like video on that would be dope. We could start with Abraham, then we can go to maybe Noah, and then lead with start with Samson. It's what, yeah, that'd be dope. We could do that, and then I mean, you know, so the people will get like, you know, a sense of you know, and then each one of those people had to struggle with the forces of evil, bro. So I mean, they were God chose them to battle, you know, and like who to me, like look at it, Power Rangers, like what happened in Power Rangers? What I mean, come on, like you, like this is dope. This is like dope. So like, what happened in Power Rangers, bro? Like the first season, right? The first one that we grew up on. Who? What happened? Four ordinary teenagers got recruited by who or what? Five. 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 Right. Five teenagers with attitude. Right. They got recruited
Which is
by.
kind of weird. Who did they get recruited by?
Right.
I had this thought earlier today, right?
Okay.
Like, it's it's not just the Bible. Like, we know the Bible because that's something that has been, it's something that's not just been around the house, but we've had people actually pick it up and read, verses to us. I'm not quite well versed in the Bible.
Right.
However, there's a lot of stories that we're now learning that we kind of already knew, which was all these stories
Right.
were taken from, an older source. So it kind of
Right.
makes me think, like, it kind of makes me look into the story of, like, let's say Samson in a whole different light. You get what I'm saying? Whether you believe in, the story of the Anunnaki or any higher beings, it can be very evident that if something came down from a different or from another realm or from another planet, they would look at us as inferior, and first that we would look at them as, superior because they have all these different powers.
Right.
However, I'm just looking at it in a different light. Like, maybe these beings were, not necessarily human like. When you look at like Samson and he's resembling from Hercules, who's to say when they talk about like the fallen ones, right? That they don't just repeatedly come back to this realm, this place that we call Earth, in different forms.
Right. Like why? Why is this? What?
To get back into the grace, but it's a process.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
Yeah. Right. Right. And
I'm kind of like that.
yeah, and then ultimately using and that's why these stories are so powerful. That's why storytelling is so powerful because maybe ultimately it helps us. Maybe that was the way of keeping obviously stories were a way of keeping record. So I mean, maybe this is a way of us almost kind of keeping in tune with who we truly are. So that's pretty cool when you think about it like that.
That's the age-old question. What are we?
Who are we? Where did we come? Where did we come from? Right. So that's awesome. Uh, yeah. I think, and yeah, and we can get into all of that, but like, well, I want to tell the story for the sake of the story, adding our own spin on it, like the conflict with good and evil, right? And so, and then the inner conflict with good and evil, because they wrestle with themselves, they wrestle with the message God was trying to tell them, and then once we get in, then the other mythological heroes, what they, whatever their situations were. But it's dope because I find a lot of similarities with the story of Samson, Hercules, and Gilgamesh. From, like you said, they're all derivatives of the Emerald Tablets, the Sumerian tales. So you see the famous statue with Gilgamesh standing. They say Gilgamesh was a giant, right? And he comes from a long line of pre-Diluvian kings. For those of you who don't know, pre-Diluvian meaning before the great deluge, which the deluge was the flood of the ancient flood told to us in the Bible that wiped out half of most of the population of mankind, except for the descendants of Noah, right? So, with that being said, oh, and supposedly they say also it's not talked about in the Bible, but well, it is talked about in the Bible, but not broadly stated. The real reason for the flood was to wipe out the giants, right? And so that's dope too. I mean, you can, yo, with storytelling Saturday, when we get into the Giants part, which is gonna be dope because come to find out, Goliath wasn't the only giant that David killed. When you really get into the text, there was a whole nation of giants that came from a place called Gath in the Bible, and it wasn't only David. He trained other warriors to go and kill giants as well. And it talks about there was a man, even there was, and now these giants, man, it's so much that we can get into with that. But the fact that now, why did these different tales have so many similarities? Gilgamesh, Hercules, Samson, they all killed lions with their bare hands. There's always a tale, like if you see the ancient statue of Gilgamesh, it's a tall guy with a lion in a headlock. You've probably seen that. He's holding the lion with one hand.
All of his symbols.
Right. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
And in my opinion, I think that when we see that, it is a conflict, and I think it's based on perception. Like that when you break down like good and evil, right, or good and bad, in my perception, which is it's changed within these past couple of years, man.
Right.
Just breaking things down. Like I don't necessarily look at things as like, oh, this is good or this is bad. I think it's consequences of actions. If I create an action, then you're gonna get this reaction, this consequence. And it's up to you to either live with it or regret it. And if you regret, you're saying, man, I wish I didn't do that. And for me, I don't regret anything. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
But when you have a mind that's in the process of, going from child to adult, there are things that you have to temper. I think that's what represents life. Everything is a struggle. When you look at how plants grow, right? It's a seed with so much energy, and it's being fed by the light before it even sees it. So what is that? Waves, right? And different waves can affect you in different ways. I think that's the reason why we have different plants and different trees, because each seed tends to be a different wave. You know what I mean? I think that goes for us as like a principle of law, right? We're attracted by the waves that we're attracted to. That separates people that are, highly intelligent as far as they read thousands of books, they got scholarships versus somebody who, is just a person that's into construction, right?
Right.
They both need the same amount of studying, right? I can't just be in construction and say, okay, I've only done this for a day and I'm laying bricks down, like somebody who's done it for 18 years. That doesn't happen.
Okay.
But on the job, you learn, right? Just like somebody who's reading or somebody who has, super knowledge on how, I don't know, let's just use teeth, a dentist, somebody who's been training for 18 years as a wave.
Right.
It's a wave. And everything, in my opinion, it starts with up here. How strong you can pull and grasp to these waves, then obviously you're going to get further.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
The same thing with the Bible. All these stories, they tell the same. They tell kind of the same story, but within the story are symbols that it's like we might not fully understand it, but as the story's being told, there's these nuggets, these seeds that are in our brains that tend to sprout at times,
right?
Like,
and it's all a message that we need to hear, right? So like,
think about the time that we saw the movie Matrix, right?
mm-hmm.
It was on so many different levels, and we picked up on a couple of levels. But now that we're older, you go and watch that movie again, or whenever the last time you start to realize and see different things, because now your brain is a little more mature, so that brainwave, that wavelength, still connects with you. And I think that goes for everything that we've seen, whether it's
right.
Ninja Turtles. What was it, Power Rangers? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
most definitely, bro. Yeah. So I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I think like when we really do, when we do these segments, like they'll both get a chance to hear our voice and narrate, like in the narrative tone. What would be awesome is if you have a way to capture your audio, just your audio, like I can edit it, and then like you'll send me yours, I'll do mine. Like I think that's the way we should do this, and then we'll put it together in a video or whatever.
I got the audio. The audio's recorded, so yeah, I'll send it to you when I can.
Yeah, like pure, like it's got to be like pure, like good, great quality. Oh yeah, it says we got 9 minutes and 53 seconds remaining. Yeah, but this is just a short, just to talk about, let the people know what we're gonna be talking about, and how storytelling Tuesday is gonna be. And then sometimes, if I can, like, once me and you really get together, we'll actually be making little shorts, stories, little quick joints, like, man, people who are watching this right now, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Also, we are about to launch our Patreon. Go to that. Make sure you guys sign up for that because it'll help us make more videos like this and the type of videos you guys want to see. And you guys can also have a contribution into the type of videos that are produced. So definitely tap in with that. Yeah.
You will also see the different transformations that we're going through. I'm going through a move. My brother over here is going through a move.
Right.
Hopefully he'll be out here soon.
Yeah, so we can make some moves happen, man.
A little background on me. I like to be in the woods. I'm going up to Alaska. So keep chiming in. Let us know what you want. And just, we'll make the content. And then you'll start to see, things
Right.
And we're gonna keep doing this.
Yeah,
You
for
know,
real.
to see the transformation is just one part of the story. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
And it'll be a cool thing to look back and say, okay, this is where we started from, and now
Mm-hmm.
look at where we're at.
Right.
And that's kind of the whole thing for the recording.
Right.
No disrespect, but I could care less about how many people are watching.
Right.
What I really care about is the message that's being broadcast and the support of the message. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, of
That's
course, no
really
doubt.
what it is. But
Exactly.
this is legacy for the fam 100 years in the future.
Right.
To understand where this mindset came from, where this knowledge that we were being flooded with, and how it's being manifested. I think that's cool. I think that's something very important now in a time where it's kind of hard to realize what's real, what's fake. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly. And since we're talking about storytelling, we're not going to get into any political beliefs or anything like that, except our beliefs of DAB and how the message we're trying to spread, but or religious beliefs or anything like that. But the only beliefs that I want our people to follow is the beliefs of DAB and the powerful message we're trying to spread of positivity, and you know what I mean, the principles that we follow, that we grew up on, and everything like that. And so hopefully they can help people that need it. And that's the message I've been trying to spread, and that we hope it takes a hold to people and touches them as well. Now, the one thing that the Bible did say is that in the future there'll be a generation that won't know God, and that right will become wrong and wrong will become right. And that's all I'm going to touch on that, because we see that a lot that's going on today. So, you know what I mean? We're not going to get into all of that because people get canceled for saying low crazy stuff. But that's what, that's all I'm going to say is right there. But, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, people need these stories. People need to be reminded of the stories. And people need to know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, just like the legendary people of old, you can overcome your adversity too. And, you know what I mean? Just by living a certain lifestyle of DAB, having faith, man, having creativity, having purpose, knowing, having self determination, and all of these things. So,
I think you should break down what DAB is, because DAB it's a last name, but it's not just a way of living. It's a bunch of principles that are comprised that if you do live it, then like your wildest dreams will come true. I
exactly,
mean,
exactly, exactly.
we should do another story after this, like
Mhm.
break down what you're doing, and then if we have time, we can do something like where I break down what my story, so that way you have some more. You know what I mean?
Oh, I like that. I like that. I actually like that. Yo, that'll be a whole,
Yeah,
and that can be a whole other, because we just went for a half an hour just now. That'll be a whole
and
content.
and nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? We're just saying DAB, and it's a lifestyle, but what is it? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, no, definitely.
and it's so much that you can't just cover
In like two
in
words, like, yeah, like it's like you ask me what is DAB, like for per our mission statement. Okay,
listen, every day I ask myself that because
what if it's an ever-ending journey? Like you're always gonna be asking yourself,
every
"What's
day.
Because that's yo?" I swear to God, bro. He said, "Dude, I swear I told you what DAB was." Dude, what is DAB? What says it on YouTube? Better comics, short films, reviews, storytelling. Like, no, it's more than just that. Well, okay, DAB is like, nah, it's an everlasting journey, man, and that's the interesting thing about it. So, but it was set by certain foundations, and we'll get into that in the next video, definitely. But it's lit, bro. I can't. It's lit, and like my bro says, it's already. It's like, yeah, it's about to be lit. Nah, it's already lit. It definitely is already lit.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta jump and do it, and so that's what we're doing now, man. So I mean, expect to see epic storytelling. There'll be, more in depth, like document that when we do these, we'll pick a topic, guys. When we pick, say, a character from folklore, legendary, or biblical from biblical proportions, we will narrate and tell the story as if like on some not like reading Rainbow, but like on some real like storytelling type
Let's
stuff.
bring that shit back.
Yo, we about to
Let's
bring.
bring that
Yo, we
shit
about to
back.
bring.
Add a little Ali. Stop the presses, okay? We got documentary. We got comics. We got martial arts.
We got short films. You don't know. This is DAB, baby. Now this is gonna be lit. Have a yo.
But it's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time
Most
in history where things need to be recorded, and it's so amazing. Where like I was just having a conversation with Ava at the new house, and and just talking about how fast things have changed, and people are feeling it. People. It's so much information that people don't know where to turn. And whenever there's chaos, there's a way to outshine all of the nonsense. You feel what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
That's what we're gonna be bringing. It's once again, it's much more than just documentaries. It's much more than just principles. It's a new wave. It's not new, but it's a trend that is resurfacing. And through all of the trials and tribulations, I'm pretty sure most of the people that are watching now, they got their own battles. When you start realizing that, all the battles that we go through on an everyday basis, we're more alike than different. It has nothing to do with color. It has nothing to do with whether you want to be male, female, or mixed. It has nothing to do with that. It has something to do with actually being in tune with what you want in life. It's not just about having knowledge, but accepting the knowledge, being the knowledge, and getting to where you need to go. So much on this earth. It's more than just money. It's more than just. It's more, bro. It's abundance.
It's abundance.
It's tapping into that abundance feeling. That's a greater feeling. You don't have to, not eat fried chicken.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have to. All that stuff is good, but at the same time, being who you are.
We're running out. It's DAB, baby.